You've felt it lately, haven't you? The noise in your mind. You sit down to work, to study, to build your future. And 10 minutes later, you're in a rabbit hole of notifications, old messages, painful memories, and random thoughts you never asked for. Your body is in the chair, but your mind is scattered across 1,000 tabs. You replay the rejection. You replay the betrayal. You replay the disrespect. They left. They ghosted. They moved on. But your mind is still there, stuck in the scene, like a broken record on loop. You tell yourself you have no focus, no discipline. You think something is wrong with you. But here's the truth. There's nothing wrong with your mind. It's just untrained. Right now, you're living like a man walking through a battlefield with no armor. Every sound pulls you. Every memory hooks you. Every emotion hijacks you. Of course you can't focus. You're bleeding attention everywhere. This is where Stoicism steps in. Not as a cold, ancient philosophy, but as a brutal, honest mirror. The Stoics understood something you were never taught in school. Your attention is your life. Where your focus goes, your fate follows. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations in the middle of war, loss, and constant pressure. Seneca advised powerful men while facing exile and death. Epictetus was born a slave and still built an unbreakable inner world. If they could build calm in chaos, you can build focus in the age of distraction. In this video, you're going to learn 10 Stoic truths that, if you actually live them, will feel like turning the lights on in a dark room. Truths that will help you increase your focus, not by 5% or 10%, but in a way that feels like doubling your mental power. Not by hacks, not by gimmicks, but by rebuilding the core of who you are. You will see why your overthinking is stealing your energy, why your phone owns more of your mind than you do, why your emotions hijack your day before breakfast, and how a calm, disciplined, Stoic mind cuts through all of that like a sword through fog. By the end, you won't just try to focus harder. You will understand how a Stoic uses his mind like a weapon, sharp, controlled, dangerous in the best way. If you're tired of feeling weak in your own head, if you're done being pulled around by distractions and emotions, pause for a second and make a choice. Decide that this is not just another video you half-watch while scrolling. Decide that this is a turning point. If that resonates, hit subscribe and share this with someone who needs awakening as much as you do. Build a circle of minds that are serious about clarity and discipline. And drop this in the comments right now as your first act of focus. I choose a clear, disciplined mind. Say it, type it, own it, because from this moment on, you're not just a tired, distracted man. You're a Stoic mind in training, a calm force being forged in the middle of chaos. In the next part, we'll dive into the first Stoic truth that changes everything about your focus. The realization that your attention is not a victim of the world, but a responsibility you must claim. You're about to see why the mind you think is broken is actually just undisciplined, and how to start training it like a warrior. You've just made a decision most people never make. You chose to take your mind seriously. Now we go from inspiration to surgery. We're going to open up the way you think, the way you react, the way you lose your focus, and rebuild it from the inside. The first truth is this: your focus is not a feeling, it's a discipline, and discipline starts with how you see your mind. First Stoic truth: the battlefield of attention. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Right now, you behave as if every vibration, every notification, every message has the right to invade your mind. You treat your attention like public property. Anyone can walk in. Any memory can stay as long as it likes. The Stoic mind doesn't work like that. Imagine your mind as a fortress on a hill. Every thought that tries to enter must pass a gate. Most people have no gate. You're going to build one. Psychologically, this means one thing. You notice your thoughts before you obey them. You don't instantly grab your phone just because you feel bored. You don't dive into old chats just because you feel lonely. You pause. You watch the impulse. You choose. This is focus at its core, choosing what deserves your mind. You apply this every morning. Phone on airplane mode. You sit. You breathe. You pick one task. And you say, "This is my battlefield today. Nothing else." Your affirmation: my mind is a fortress. I decide what enters. Second Stoic truth: emotion is the thief of focus if you let it be. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Think about how many hours you've lost replaying conversations. The disrespect, the breakup, the ghosting. You open your laptop to work, but in reality, you're watching a movie in your head where you keep getting hurt. Your brain doesn't know the difference between the memory and the present. It reacts the same. Heart rate up, muscles tight, mind foggy. Of course you can't focus. You're fighting ghosts. A Stoic doesn't deny his emotions. He doesn't pretend he doesn't hurt. He simply refuses to let that hurt drive his day. When the memory appears, you label it. This is a thought, not a command. You feel it in your body. You breathe through it. And you bring your attention back to what you chose. Over time, you train your nervous system to stop treating every painful memory like an emergency. Your affirmation: I feel my emotions, but I follow my purpose. Third Stoic truth: kill the invisible distractions. Epictetus said, If a person gave away your body to some passerby, you'd be furious, yet you hand over your mind to anyone who insults you, and you feel no shame. Today, your passerby is your feed, your notifications, your endless scrolling. You think you're just checking something quickly. In reality, you're slicing your focus into tiny pieces. The invisible distractions aren't just your phone. They're your open tabs, your constant music, your habit of multitasking, your urge to reply instantly to every message. A Stoic mind is not available to everyone at all times. Practically, this means you create sacred blocks. 90 minutes, one task, phone in another room, notifications off, door closed. You train your brain to understand. When it's focused time, the world can wait. Will it feel uncomfortable at first? Yes, your brain is addicted to stimulation, but discomfort is not a signal to stop. It's a signal you're finally doing something different. If this is landing, hit like and save this video as a reminder the next time you're tempted to drift. You're not just changing habits, you're changing identity, your affirmation. My attention is not for sale. You've seen the battlefield. You've seen how emotion hijacks your focus. You've seen the invisible ways you give your mind away. In the next part, we'll go even deeper into the Stoic truths that harden your discipline, how to master your inner dialogue, how to break free from comfort addiction, and how to build a daily structure that makes focus your default, not a rare event. You've started to see it now. Your mind isn't weak. It's just been undirected, unguarded, unfocused. You've built the first walls of the fortress. Now we sharpen the blade inside. The next Stoic truth cuts right into the way you talk to yourself. Fourth Stoic truth. Your inner voice is your programming. You wake up and before you even touch your phone, the noise starts. I'm tired. I'll do it later. I can't focus. What's the point? You don't even notice you're saying these things. They feel like reality. But they're not reality. They're instructions. And your mind is obeying. Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. He didn't say the quality of your circumstances. He said thoughts, because thoughts become decisions. Decisions become habits. Habits become your life. Modern psychology backs this up. Your brain constantly looks for evidence to confirm what you already believe. If you keep telling yourself you're distracted, lazy, broken, your mind will work hard to prove you right. A Stoic mind doesn't lie with fake positivity. It speaks with disciplined truth. Instead of I can't focus, you say, my focus is a skill I'm training. Instead of I'm so behind, you say, I'm responsible for what I do today. Instead of what's the point, you say, the point is who I become by doing this. This isn't corny, it's strategic. You are rewriting the code that runs your day. Apply it ruthlessly. When you catch a weak script in your head, you don't negotiate with it. You replace it, calmly, firmly, repeatedly. Your affirmation, I speak to myself like a disciplined, focused man. Fifth Stoic truth, time is your sharpest teacher. You think your problem is distraction. Beneath that, your real problem is this. You act like you have endless time. Seneca wrote, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Read that again in your mind. You don't have a time shortage. You have an attention leak. Think about how many days you've burned scrolling, replaying old pain, doing just one more episode while your goals gather dust. You tell yourself you'll be more serious one day. But one day is not a date. It's a graveyard where dreams go to die. A Stoic constantly remembers that he is mortal, not to be depressed, but to be precise. When you sit down to work and feel the pull toward distraction, you remind yourself, this hour is my life. Not theory, not practice, my actual life. You start asking different questions. Is this worth an hour of my limited existence? Will I respect myself for this use of time tomorrow? Most distractions vanish under that light. Practical move, give your day edges. Decide when your focus blocks start, when they end, and what they're for. Treat them like appointments with your future self. You wouldn't casually skip a meeting with your boss. Stop casually skipping meetings with your own potential. Your affirmation, my time is limited, my focus is sacred. Sixth Stoic truth, choose one path in each moment. You think you're overwhelmed because life is too complex. The Stoic truth is simpler. You're overwhelmed because you try to walk 10 paths at once. Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Not do everything. Not try every option. Do what you have to do, aligned with who you decided to be. When you try to study while chatting, work while scrolling, heal while stalking your ex's profile, you're splitting your mind into fragments. No wonder you feel tired, foggy, weak. A Stoic mind is not obsessed with doing everything. It's obsessed with doing the right thing right now. In each moment you ask, what's my path in this hour? And then you commit, fully. You're either resting on purpose or working on purpose, but you are not drifting. In relationships, this looks like choosing dignity over chasing. In work, it looks like finishing one deep task instead of half starting 5. In healing, it looks like choosing acceptance over constant reopening of old wounds. Your focus grows when you stop living like a browser with 20 tabs open and start living like a single, clear window. If these truths are starting to hit, let this be your way of stepping fully into this journey. Share this video with one person who's always saying, I can't focus. Be the reminder they didn't know they needed. Your affirmation. In each moment, I walk one clear path. You've now confronted your inner voice, your relationship with time, and your addiction to scattered paths. You're not just learning ideas, you're slowly breaking an old identity of distraction and building a new one of clarity. In the next part, we're going to turn up the intensity even more. We'll tie these truths into a powerful Stoic worldview that reshapes who you think you are, moving from a scattered, reactive mind to a calm, disciplined presence that can walk through chaos like a stormproof warrior. Look at how far you've already come. At the start, your mind felt like a crowded room, every emotion shouting, every memory grabbing for your attention. Now, you're beginning to see it differently. You've seen your attention as a battlefield. You've called out emotion as a thief. You've exposed invisible distractions. You've challenged your inner voice, your relationship with time, and your habit of walking 10 paths at once. You're no longer just someone who struggles to focus. You are becoming a man who takes responsibility for his inner world. This is where the transformation goes deeper than habits. This is where identity shifts. Seventh Stoic truth. Calm is a skill, not a gift. Most people think calm is a personality type. They're just naturally relaxed. I'm just an anxious person. That's a story, not a fact. Marcus Aurelius said, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. The Stoic isn't born calm. He learns to challenge his estimate of things. Modern life trains you to panic fast. One text left unread, and your mind spins. A delay in response, and your brain writes a rejection story. One piece of bad news, and your entire day collapses. Stoic calm is not the absence of storms. It's the ability to stand in the center of the storm and decide what it means. Practically, this looks like a tiny gap between event and reaction. You get criticized. Instead of instantly defending, you breathe and think, is there truth here I can use? You get ignored. Instead of spiraling, you tell yourself, this silence is information, not a verdict on my worth. You get overwhelmed. Instead of fleeing to distraction, you say, one thing at a time, what can I do right now? Slowly, you train your nervous system to understand that not everything is an emergency. Your affirmation, my calm is trained, not gifted. Eighth Stoic truth, you are not your thoughts. Your mind throws up some dark stuff, old arguments, imagined insults, catastrophes that haven't happened, and you've spent years believing, if I think it, it must mean something about me. Epictetus said, men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of things. That includes the views you take of your own thoughts. A thought is not a prophecy. A thought is not a command. A thought is not your identity. Picture your mind as the sky. Your thoughts are the weather. Sometimes it's cloudy. Sometimes it storms. Sometimes it's clear. If you identify as the storm, you feel like you're always in danger. If you identify as the sky, you know the storm passes. Practically, this means when thought appears like, I'm a failure, you don't argue with it emotionally. You observe it. There's a thought of failure. Where is the evidence? What action can I take instead of drowning in this? This is modern cognitive psychology through a Stoic lens. Noticing the story, questioning it, and choosing a more useful one. You stop asking, why am I thinking this? And start asking, is this thought helping me live as the man I want to be? Your affirmation, I am not my thoughts. I am the one who chooses. Now, when you put all these truths together, something powerful emerges. You start to see life as a battlefield of storms and distractions. Yes, but also as a training ground. The painful breakup, the disrespect at work, the ghosting, the uncertainty about your future. These are no longer random punishments. They're weight on the bar. They are the resistance that forges your inner strength. Marcus Aurelius wrote, the mind adapts and converts to its own purpose as the obstacle to our acting. The Stoic doesn't just endure obstacles. He uses them. He converts them into focus, clarity, and depth. You are no longer the man dragged by his emotions and notifications. You are the man who stands in the middle of chaos and thinks clearly. A calm force, a dangerous quiet, a focused presence. This is the bigger Stoic worldview. The world will always throw storms. Your task is to build a mind that can walk through them with dignity. If this is starting to feel like who you really are underneath the noise, anchor it. Whisper to yourself, even now, I am the calm in the storm. In the final part, we'll take everything you've learned, the battlefield of attention, the training of emotion, the discipline of time, the power of your inner voice, the skill of calm, and turn it into clear marching orders. No theory, no abstraction, just a simple, powerful way to live as a Stoic mind each day, so your focus doesn't just improve, it becomes unshakable. Take a breath. Look at the path you've walked in this video. You started as a man feeling scattered, pulled in 100 directions, doubting his own mind. Now you're seeing the truth. Your focus isn't broken. It was untrained, unclaimed, unmanaged. You've learned to see your attention as a battlefield. You've faced emotion as a thief that you can tame. You've cut invisible distractions. You've rewired your inner voice. You've honored time. You've chosen one path in each moment. You've trained calm and separated yourself from your thoughts. Now it's time to lock it in. Not as a mood, as a way of life. Ninth Stoic truth. Simplicity is power. You've been taught that success means doing more, adding more, chasing more. But for your mind, more usually means weaker. The Stoics lived simply on purpose. Not to be aesthetic minimalists, but to protect their clarity. When your life is cluttered with unnecessary obligations, drama, and noise, your focus suffocates. So you start asking, what can I remove? Pointless arguments, empty scrolling, people who drain you but never grow with you, habits that leave you foggy and ashamed. When you simplify, you're not missing out. You're making room for depth, deep work, deep relationships, deep stillness. Your marching order here is clear. Every week, remove one thing that wastes your mind. One app, one habit, one person's access to you. Over time, your inner world becomes cleaner, sharper, calmer. Your affirmation, I simplify my life to strengthen my mind. 10th Stoic truth. Live as if you already chose who you are. Most men wait. They wait to feel confident before acting confidently. They wait to feel disciplined before behaving with discipline. They wait for focus to magically appear. But Epictetus said, don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. You don't wait to become a Stoic mind someday. You live as one today, in small decisions that no one sees. That means when you sit down to work, you don't ask, can I focus? You act like a focused man acts. You shut the door. You silence the noise. You give this hour everything. When pain hits, you don't ask, why me? You ask, how does a Stoic use this? You breathe. You observe. You choose your response. When distraction calls, you don't debate. You already chose. You're the man who protects his attention. So you act in alignment with that choice. Identity first. Feelings second. You lead. Your emotions follow. Your affirmation, I move like the man I've decided to be. Now let's turn this into a clear daily path. Each morning, before the world touches you, you take a few quiet minutes alone. No phone, no noise. You remind yourself, my mind is my responsibility. You decide your top 1 or 2 priorities for the day. Not 10. 1 or 2 that truly matter. You give those priorities dedicated focus blocks. No multitasking, no constant checking. When your mind wanders, you don't panic. You notice, you bring it back. Each return is a rep. Each rep is strength. Throughout the day, you catch your inner dialogue. When it turns weak or hopeless, you correct it. Not with fake hype, but with grounded truth. I can handle this. One step, one task, one breath. When emotion hits, you let it move through your body without letting it rule your actions. When distraction invites you to escape, you remember that time is not infinite and ask, will I respect this choice tomorrow? Before bed, you review, not to shame yourself, but to adjust. Where did you lose focus? Where did you stand strong? What will you do differently tomorrow? This is how a Stoic uses each day as a training ground, not a blur. Marcus Aurelius wrote, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. In your case, waste no more time arguing with yourself about whether you can focus. Decide who you are, then live like it. If this resonated with you, I want you to take one final step. Join this community consciously. Like the video, subscribe, and share it with one man you know who's drowning in his own thoughts. Be the signal in his noise. And in the comments, stamp this into your identity with one final line. I am the calm, focused mind in the storm. Not I want to be. Not I hope to be. I am. Because from today on, you're not just someone trying to fix his focus. You are a Stoic mind in progress. A disciplined, clear, unshakable presence in a chaotic world. And the world has no idea how dangerous your calm is about to become.